an education only. Please listen to your body and practice within your own limits. If you have any injuries, medical conditions, or are pregnant, please consult your healthcare professional before practicing. If at any point you feel pain, dizziness, or discomfort, gently stop and rest. Let us now begin the asanas for today. As we enter into Dvitiya Vinyasa Krama 2 series today from Asanas 300. Please come seated in a comfortable position as we start with Vishirsa Asana, the two-headed pose. Sit with the right heel at the perineum and left foot on top. Place the hands on top of the knees. Raise the left shoulder to the height of the head, making it seem as a second head, keeping your spine elongated and chest broad. Maintain a soft gaze forward, breathing calmly and evenly. Keep the eyes open and steady gaze outward while awareness rests deeply within in Shambhavi Mudra. And Samana Kumbhaka, inhaling deeply, visualizing heat, flames rising up along the spine. Maintain the awareness of the spine. Clench the muscles of the pelvic floor in Mula Bandha. Visualize yourself like a god with multiple heads radiating wisdom, perception, and mastery in every direction.
द्विशीर्षासना स्कन्धशिरपर्यन्तं नीत्वा स्थातव्यं द्विशीर्षं भवति.
Now repeat the Dvishirsasana on the other side.
स्कन्धशिरपर्यन्तं नीत्वा स्थातव्यं द्विशीर्षं भवति.
Now we move on to Kumbhirasana, the crocodile pose. Continue to remain seated in the same position. Bring your hands on top of your head, interlacing the fingers. Sit tall in the shape of a pot on the floor. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, keep the eyes open, steady gaze. Samana Kumbhaka, inhaling deeply, visualizing heat flames rising up along the spine. And draw the abdomen inward towards the spine and then lift it up in Uddiyana Bandha. Chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham internally as you visualize yourself as an alligator, stealthy, patient, and powerful, gliding through the waters with unwavering focus.
कुम्भीरासना नितम्बे हस्तयुगलं भूमौ संकोचितः पतेत्. कुम्भीरासनमावक्ष्ये वायुनां धारणाय च.
Now, sit with the right ankle on the left ankle and the left ankle remain beneath the right ankle. Palms resting on the thigh. Sit with the body upright and shoulders gently widened. As we move to Chakrasana Dve, wheel pose 2, holding the Shambhavi Mudra with eyes open, steady gaze, Samana Kumbhaka, visualizing the heat flames rising along the spine, Mula Bandha, clenching the muscles of the pelvic floor, and chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing each of your chakra as bright as white light.
चक्रासना द्वे सव्योरु दक्षिणे गुल्फे दक्षिणं दक्षिणेतरे निदध्यादृच्छकायस्तु चक्रासनमिदं मतं तत्र चक्रासनलक्षा नामः सव्येति.
Now, we move on to Swastikasana, the auspicious pose 2. Here, sit cross-legged with both soles tucked securely between the thighs and the calf. Rest your palms lightly on your knee. Spine upright, chest tall, shoulders soft, and gaze relaxed. Om the Shambhavi Mudra Samana Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Embodying peace, well-being, good fortune, and prosperity. In Swastikasana Dve. Chatushtikasana.
जानुर्भोरन्तरे सम्यग् धृत्वा पादतले उभे समकायसुखासीना स्वस्तिकं तत्प्रजाष्टके अनेन विधिना योगी मारुतं साधयेत् सुधि देहनाक्रमते व्याधिस्तस्य वायुश्च सिद्ध्यति.
Now we move on to Swastikasana 3, the auspicious pose 3. Now sit with both soles placed between the thighs and the calves. Interlace your fingers and rest the palm at the chest center. Lift your spine upright, broaden your chest, let the shoulders soften. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Samana Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. As you visualize embodying peace, well-being, good fortune, and prosperity.
स्वस्तिकासनत्रिणि जानुर्वोरन्तरे कृत्वा योगी पादतले उभे ऋजुगाय समासीना स्वस्तिकं तत्प्रजाष्टके.
Now we move on to Virasana Dve, the hero pose 2. Sit with one ankle tucked into the gap between the thighs and the calf, while the other foot resting across on the opposite thigh. Place your palms on the knees, keep your chest open, spine tall. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Samana Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. As you visualize and embody the state and space of bravery, fearlessness, and steadfast in the face of all challenges.
वीरासना द्वे अथ मनस्थैर्यकं वीरासनम् एकस्मिन् संस्थितमेकं पादं चरेद् योगी इतरस्मिन् ऊरुमिदं वीरासनमिति ऋतम्.
Now we move on to Karmakasana 3. Sit in lotus posture, placing the left foot on the right thigh and the right foot on the left thigh. Now cross your arms behind your back and hold on to the opposite toes. As you hold the Prana Mudra with your fingers, middle and index finger together, holding on to the toes. Kakachuncha Kumbhaka. Curling the tongue inward within the mouth, then exhale it lightly outward to form a small passage for the inhalation resembling the beak of a crow. Inhale through this opening and retain the breath after drawing it in. And now, holding the Mahamudra Bandha. In Mahamudra Bandha, you will clench the muscles of the pelvic floor, tuck the chin to the chest, and draw the abdomen in and up. And chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham internally as you visualize yourself as Shiva's bow, the sacred karmic alignment charged with divine energy and readiness.
कार्मुकासनत्रिणि कार्मुकासनमाकृत्य उदरे पूरयेत् सुखं तदा वायुर्वसो याति कलेन सूक्ष्मवायुना कृत्वा पद्मासनं मन्त्री वेष्टयित्वा प्रधारयेत् करेण दक्षिणो नैव वामपादन्तिकं ततम्.
Now we move on to Dridasana, the unshakable resolve pose. Continuing to remain seated in the same position in Padmasana and holding the arms behind it, crossing the arms behind, holding the toes. Holding the Prana Mudra, Kakachuncha Kumbhaka, curling the tongue inwards and then making a passage to inhale through this passage. This time we are only going to hold the Mula Bandha and chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as you visualize yourself as an unstoppable conscious energy of Paramashiva's third eye, radiating fierce awareness and divine intelligence in Dridasana.
ऊरुभ्यामुपरि स्थाप्य पादयुग्मं प्रयत्नता दक्षिणं सव्यदेशे च सव्यं दक्षिणदेशके करद्वयं पृष्ठदेशे परिवर्त्य प्रयत्नता पादाङ्गुष्ठयुगं सम्यक् कराभ्यां सन्निगृह्य च.
Continuing to remain seated in the same position, hold on to the toes and slowly lean backwards, remaining in Padmasana. Slowly lean back onto the floor, holding onto the toes in Pranamudra, Kakachuncha Kumbhaka, and clench your perineum in Mula Bandha. Chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as we move on to Nagarasana, the snake pose, visualizing yourself as a snake coiling with precision, alert to every subtle movement around you.
Nagrasana. प्रथम पद्मासन कोठाने दो हाथ पाचने आने पद अंगुठा पकड़े आनी वाई कहून्या कूल्या पानी.
Now relax your legs, fold your knees and bring to your chest. As you hug your knees with both arms crossed, holding onto the opposite arms. As you move on to Kandukasana, the ball pose, holding the Shambhavi Mudra Sahaja Kumbhaka Mulebandha, Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Kandukasana. वेत्रासने स्थित्वा हस्तपादां निक्षाय मूर्ध्वं नयेत् पृष्ठवंशेन भूमिं स्पृशेत् कन्दुकासनं भवति.
Now we move on to Urdhva Pavana Asana, upward bend pose. Now bring your feet flat on the floor by the hips. Cross your arms behind your head as you gently relax, interlacing the fingers, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, keeping the eyes open, steady gaze, Sahaja Kumbhaka, inhaling through the nose, holding the breath comfortably. Clench your perineum in Mula Bandha, chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as you visualize yourself as the rising wind flowing upward with the unstoppable force.
ऊर्ध्व पवनासना. प्रथमे सूढ़ो सैन करावे गोडा उभराखि मिलावे गुल्पमाहिला अंगुष्ठ दोऊ करे एक समेरे सोऊ उभे हस्त काकसी करे सोले मस्तक नीचे धारे नासा अग्र दृष्टि दहरावे याते नादि सरतल पावे.
Remaining in the same position, slowly bring your hands underneath your heels as you raise your hip into Markata Pita Asana, monkey seat pose. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Murcha Kumbhaka, inhaling deeply through the nose, then lock the chin to the chest in Jalandhara Bandha. Hold the breath and then slowly exhale through the nose, maintaining the throat lock, and chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as you visualize yourself as a monkey, agile, playful, and perceptive.
मरकट पीठासना. उत्तान शयनं पादतले उत्तानहस्तयोः स्थापयेत् पृष्ठभागम् उन्नामयेत् मरकटपीठं भवति.
From here, just extend your legs, but continue to remain with the knees raised and the hip raised, supporting the lower back. Extend your legs in Uttana Shiki Pita Kasana, upward peacock pose. So just raise your hips, but this time the feet are not close to the body, it is extended further away. Yet the knees are raised and the hips are raised. Support your lower back with your hands. In upward peacock pose, hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Murcha Kumbhaka, inhaling deeply through the nose, then lock the chin to the chest in Jalandhara Bandha. Chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize yourself as an upward rising peacock, crest lifted and feathers radiant.
उत्तानशिखिपीठकासना जङ्गोरुबलहीनश्चेत् उत्तानशिखिपीठकम् अप्रमत्तः प्रकुर्वीता भुक्ते प्राग्विजितेन्द्रिया
Now slowly raise both legs up. Raise your legs and your back above the ground as we move on to Narakasana, supporting your lower back. Coming to a vertical, inverted vertical. Lay on your back with the arms alongside the body. Press your shoulders firmly into the mat and bend your knees. Lift the hips. Place your hands on your lower back. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Murcha Kumbhaka, Jalandhara Bandha, Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. So, Maomka Nima, raise your legs. Raise your feet off the ground. Raise your legs off the ground. And raise your hips off the ground. Lift it up. Straight up. Make it vertical. Lift it high. Madhyasmanama. So it's an inverted pose. Yes. Now support your lower back and straighten your body as much as possible.
Nithyananda.
We apologize for the technical glitch. Now let us continue with the Narakasana. We are laying down on your back. Slowly raise your feet and hips above the ground, vertically high, as you are completely resting on the shoulders and supporting the lower back with your hands in Narakasana. Keep your head vertical, ma.
नरकासना ग्रीवाकण्ठेन भूमिं विस्तम्भपादद्वयम् ऊर्ध्वम् उन्नयेत् नरकासनं भवति.
Now, keeping the legs up, make it in a 45-degree angle away from you. In Tiriyan Naukasana, sideways boat pose, hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Moksha Kumbhaka, Jalandhara Bandha, Japa Om, Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Next, we move on to Dvajasana. So, raising your legs high, raise your feet vertically up like a flagpole. This time, the arms are not supporting your lower back, instead, they are on the floor. Spread on the floor in Dvajasana. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Moksha Kumbhaka, Jalandhara Bandha, and Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. On this pranama, if you can move your feet away.
ध्वजासना तिर्यक्नौकावद्ग्रीवा पृष्ठकूर्परै भूमिम् अवस्तभ्य मस्तकलक्षेण पादग्रद्वयम् ऊर्ध्वनयेत् ध्वजासनं भवति.
Relax. Now slowly come to a seated position as we move on to Siddhi Haratali Asana, perfect necklace pose. Sit with the heels pressed together at the perineum. Spread your knees outward. Grasp the feet firmly with interlaced fingers and hold to the soles. Hold the soles as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Samana Kumbhaka, Jalandhara Bandha by tucking the chin to the chest as you chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Unclutch from all ego-fulfilling successes in your life, releasing attachments to transient achievements.
सिद्धाहरितली आसना पगदली संपुट करी अंगुल्या कौ संपुट करे माहिली कोर राखे दो हाथ को काकसी करी.
Now, remaining seated in the same position, we move on to Bhadrasana Trini, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Samana Kumbhaka, Uddiyana Bandha. This time we are drawing the abdomen inward toward the spine. Lift it up in Uddiyana Bandha as you chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. In auspicious pose 3, visualizing your seat as the auspicious foundation.
भद्रासन त्रिणी गुल्फौ च वृषणस्यादः सीवन्या पार्श्वयोक्षिपेत् सव्यगुल्फे तथा सव्ये दक्षगुल्फे तु दक्षिणे पार्श्वापादौ च पाणिभ्यां हृदं भद्वा सुनिश्चलं भद्रासनं भवेदेतत् सर्वव्याधिनिवासनम्.
Now, bring your feet on the floor, raise your knees, and cross your ankles. And place the hands palms facing up on the respective knees as we move on to Yoga Nrsimhasana, Lion Man pose, holding the Shambhavi Mudra Samana Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize Narasimha, one of the 10 avatars of Vishnu, fierce and protective, embodying divine courage and unstoppable power.
Yoga Nrsimhasana. मायूरं पिञ्जमायूरं पद्मपीठमसन्वितं कौकुटं गर्भपिङ्गं च कौर्मं योगनृसिंहकम्.
Now turn your palms as you place the hands on the respective knees. Continuing to remain in the same position, we move on to Kakarupa Skandasana, crow form shoulder pose. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Samana Kumbhaka Mulabandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
काकरूपस्कन्धासन. अथ वक्ष्ये काकरूपस्कन्धासनमुत्तमं कलिपापत्रमुच्येत वायवीं वशमानयेत् निजपादद्वयं भद्वा स्कन्ददेशे च साधका नित्यमेतत्पदद्वन्द्वं भूमौ पुष्टिकरद्वयम्.
Now bring your feet flat on the floor in front of you. You can, yes. Now bringing the arms underneath your knees, spine straight, chest lifted, and interlacing. And chest lifted, relax the shoulders, gaze steady, and tips and maintain a smooth breath. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, keep the eyes open, steady gaze, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, contract the throat and draw the breath slowly in through the nostrils, producing the sound of the ocean. Hold the Mula Bandha, chant the Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Now sit in the space of Upanishad with the SPH, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, merging into eternal consciousness.
उत्कटिकासना. श्लीष्टगुल्फौ श्लिष्टोरुप्रसारयेत् यत्रोपविश्य पादौ तद्दण्डासनमुदीरितं कूटपार्श्निसमायोगे प्राहुरुत्कटिकासनम्.
Now we move on to Dandasana way. So extend the legs in front of you. Place the arms on the palms on the respective thighs. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, making the sound of the ocean with the breath, Mulabandha, and Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as Paramashiva's Yoga Danda.
दण्डासनाद्वे. श्लीष्टगुल्फौ श्लिष्टोरुप्रसारयेत् यत्रोपविश्य पादौ तद्दण्डासनमुदीरितम्.
Now slowly lean forward, holding onto the respective toes. As you move on to Tadaka Mudra Asana, Pond Seal pose, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Uddiyana Bandha, by drawing the abdomen inward toward the spine and lifting up, chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing a tank of water as you engage your Uddiyana Bandha.
तारक मुद्रासना. सभागिशीर्ष सर्वांगा महामुद्रा च ताडगी भद्रकोणं भद्रपद्मं दण्डं पश्चिमतानकम्.
Slowly come up as we move on to Prankasana, the rocking pose. So bringing the palms to the side, placing respective arms to the side, placing the palms on the floor, keeping it firm. Now lift your legs, rocking up and down. Then rocking from side to side. Hold steady, balance with even breath. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
प्रेङ्खासना. प्रेक्षावत्स्थित्वपादाग्रे पादाग्रे मस्तके परि नीत्वा पृष्ठभागे भूमौ निधाय तिष्ठेत्.
Now we move on to Prankasana way. This time, instead of rocking side to side, you will move your feet up and down. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
त्र्यङ्कासनद्वे प्रेक्षावत्कृत्वपादाग्रे पादाग्रे मस्तके परि नीत्वपृष्ठभागे भूमौ निधाय तिष्ठेत्.
Now bring your feet close to your body, to your hips, and wrap your arms around your knees in Yoga Asana Trini, the Union Pose 3. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
योगासनत्रिणी पृष्ठे भेदान्वितं पादं तस्य हस्तेन बन्धयेत् अथ योगासनं वक्ष्ये यत्कृत्वा योगिरात् भवेत्.
Now, we move on to Vrishapati Asana. Here, bring one knee on the floor and stack the opposite knee on the other knee. As you place your hands on the opposite knees and spine tall, hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkari Kumbhaka, gently pressing the tongue against the upper palate with the tip behind the front teeth, slowly inhaling through the teeth to create a hissing sound. Hold the Mula Bandha, chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, experiencing the energy of a temple inside you, sacred, radiant, and alive.
वृषपति आसन जीमना गोद अग्रकरिदापोपग जीमनि पासति आनी मोदी येद कुलानी चिराखी फना पानी अधर राहे हाथ गोदा उपरि राखे दृष्टि नासा अग्र आसन कौगन पवन धारण सहित करे तौ जालेंद्र अधिक दोष न होई.
Now, in this asana, as you're performing this asana, please note that. Okay, now we move on to Durvasa Asana. So, in this asana, you will actually bring the feet outside. You're not sitting on the heel, placing the hip outside by placing the heel outside by your hip. As you move on to Sage Durvasa Asana, bring the hands together. Place your right hand on the groin. Touch the left fingertips to the middle joint of the right fingers. Right hand resting at the groin. Keep the spine upright. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkari Kumbhaka, gently pressing the tongue against the upper palate with the tip behind the front teeth. Inhaling through the teeth to create a hissing sound. Hold the Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize purifying effects of Durva grass happening on your inner being, cleansing and harmonizing.
दुर्वासासना दाई जंग परि करी जीमना पगदाई पासति यानी फना दोहु धरती टेकी बारल गुलभ कुलागी बारली कानी लगावे.
Next, we move on to Sukadeva Asana, this time placing the hands on the top knee, touching wrists together, thumbs and little fingers touching. As you make the Padma Mudra, hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkari Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
सुखदेवासना वामजंग और पीठे माहे दक्षिण पीठे धारे सुताहे आना वामहा गोद महिले राखे दचि गोदा अग्रमिले.
Now, hold on to the toes as you move on to Datta Digambara Asana. Keep your arms straight, shoulders relaxed. As we hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkari Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
प्रथम जीवनोपावचावे दाई जंगोपरी करिल्यावे दाई पाकदी ताको आने गोदाम उपर ताला करी थाने.
Continue to remain seated in the same position. Now slowly lean forward as you bring the forehead to the ground or on or near the ground. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkari Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. As you visualize yourself as a fish moving effortlessly under the water in Machandrasana Trini, Lord Matsyendra's pose 3.
जीमन उपगदाई जंगा परिराखी येरी करि लगावे दावाय कौबार लगुल्था जीमना गीड की माहिली आखाय परिराखे.
Now slowly come up, raising the right arm up and bending the elbow, and bring the left arm from behind you and hold on to the opposite hands. Try to clasp the fingers as you move on to Gomukhasana, create the cow face pose 2, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkare Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as the face of a cow, gentle, nurturing, and serene.
गोमुखासनाद्वे उत्तानकूर्मा पीठं च सिंहं गारुडमेव च वातायनं गोमुखं च भारद्वाजं त्रिविक्रमम्.
Now we're going to repeat this sequence on the other side with Vrishapati Asana. Bring the right knee on the floor, stacking the left knee on top, sitting on the right heel. Place your hands on the opposite knees. Sit up tall. Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkare Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashiva.
वृषपति आसना. जीमना गोड अग्र करिदावो पग जीमनी पासती आनी मोडी ये दिकुला नीचे राखी.
Now move the heel away from your body and placing the hands in the groin. So form a mudra by touching the middle joint and one hand's finger to the perineal region while the other hand rests upward near the groin. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkare Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha and Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
दाई जंग परी करी जीमना पगदाई पासती आनी फना दो ते धरती टेकी बारल गुल फकुला की बारली कानी लगावे.
Now we move on to Sukadeva Asana. By forming, continue to remain seated in the same position. This time form the Padma Mudra, placing both hands on the knees. By bringing the thumbs joined together side to side with the fingers spread wide apart. And hold the Sheetkare Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
वामजंग और पीठे माहे दजन पीठे धरा सुताही आना वामहा गोड माहिले राखे दासे गोड अग्रमिले.
Remain seated in the same position as we move on to Datta Digambara Asana, holding on to the toes. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkare Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
प्रथम जीवनो पाव उचावे दाई जंग उपरी करि ल्यावे दाई भाकती ताको आने गोडाम उपर तली करि थाने.
Now slowly lean forward in Machandra Asana Trini towards the ground as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkare Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as a fish moving effortlessly underwater.
जीमना पगदाई जंग परिराखी एरी करि लगावे दावाय को बारलो गुल्फा जीमना गीर की माहिली आखाय परिराखे.
Now come up slowly as you raise the left arm up, folding at the elbow, and bring the right hand from underneath and hold on to the opposite hand. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sheetkare Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Must move on to Gomukhasana Dve, visualizing yourself as the face of a cow, gentle, nurturing, and serene.
उत्तान कूर्मं पीठं च सिंहं गारुडमेव च वातायनं गोमुखं च भारद्वाजं त्रिविक्रमम्.
Relax. Now we move on to Vamasvasa Gamanasana, the left breath movement pose. Sit bending the right knee, hugging the shin into the right armpit, clasping it firmly with the opposite arm. Press the left heel against the perineum while the spine stays upright and chest wide. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Rechaka Kumbhaka, exhaling fully and hold the breath out. Hold the Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize and control the outgoing breath, refined and intentional.
वामश्वासगमनासना जमनं पगनं भीमजनाना जमने हातानि काखली मां राखी तेभानि भारदाय दावे पगद भीमजना निवाली तानि एदिदाबदगाराने अददि गुदा अधर राखी.
Now, we move on to Dhirasana. So sit kneeling on the heels with the torso upright. Place both legs so they fold both legs, hold their soles crossed beneath the hips. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Rechaka Kumbhaka, exhaling fully and holding the breath out. Clench your perineum in Mula Bandha chant, Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as you visualize and embody the state and space of bravery, standing firm in the face of challenges in Dhirasana, the wise pose.
बन्ने पग गोधनाति वारिनि तेन फना गूडानि नीचे आदा राखीने बेसवं ते धीरासन कहे वायुचे.
Relax. Now we move on to Dakshinapada Dhirasana, the right foot steady pose. Now sit kneeling with the right leg folded flat beneath the hip. Place the left foot upright near the abdomen. So raising the left knee, place the left foot near the abdomen. Keep the spine long, chest lifted, shoulders relaxed as you place the hands on the respective knees. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Rechaka Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as you visualize and embody the state and space of bravery, poised and unshaken.
दक्षिणपादधीरासना बन्ने पग गोधनाति वालिनि तेन फना गूडानि चे आदा राखिने बेसवं ते धीरासन कहे वायचे. दनीय धीरासन तथा वामपाद धीरासना ए धीरासन अवांतर भेद चे. जमने पग गूडानि नीचे राखी दाबो पग धीमचना दिवाली तेनी पानी धगराने अदादि बेसवं ते दक्षिणपाद धीरासन चे.
Now we move on to Dakshina Swasa Gamanasana, right breath movement pose. This time fold the left leg and bring the left knee to the chest by placing the left foot on the floor. Bring the right foot to the perineum and wrap your arms around the left knee. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Rechika Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualize and control the outgoing breath, steadying the mind and body.
दक्षिणश्वासगमनासना जमनं पगनं भीमजनाना जमने हातानि काखली मां राखी तेभानि भारदाय दाबे पग भीमचनाति वाली.
Now we move on to Vamapada Virasana, left foot steady pose. Sit kneeling with the left foot folded in so its sole presses beneath your hips. Bend the right knee and bring the foot upward so the heel rests clearly close against the body. Keep the torso upright, chest lifted, and shoulders softened. As you move on to the left foot steady pose, Vamapada Virasana. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Rechika Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. So one foot is folded with the foot, yes.
जमनं पगनं भीमजनाना जमने हातानि काकली मां राखी तेभानि भारदाय दाबा पग भीमचना दिवाली.
Now we move on to Pashasana, the nose pose. So start by bringing your feet flat on the ground and your knees in close to the chest. The feet up by your hips. Wrap your right arm around your knees. As you exhale, gently twist your torso to the left. Slide your left hand behind your back and see if you can clasp your fingers together. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra. Rechika Kumbhaka Mulabandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize yourself bound by a noose of integrity, emotions aligned to the purpose.
पाशासना पादतले भूमौ निधाय जाननेरसि निधाय विपरीतहस्ताभ्याम् ऊरुसहितजङ्गे निबध्य तिष्ठेत् पाशासनं भवति.
Now repeat the Pashasana on the other side.
पादतले भूमौ निधाय जाननेरसि निधाय विपरीतहस्ताभ्याम् ऊरुसहितजङ्गे निबध्य तिष्ठेत् पाशासनं भवति.
Now we move on to Simha Rupakasana. Lion form pose. Sit cross-legged with your toes tucked in comfortably. Rest your palms lightly on your knees. Straighten your spine and lift through the crown of your head. Relax your shoulders. As you hold the Shamali Mudra Sahaja Kumbhaka, inhaling deeply through the nose, hold the breath comfortably, then release through the nose. Hold the Mula Bandha, chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself embodying Simha Rupaka with the majestic form and keen vision of a lion.
सिंहरूपकासना धीवन्तीं गुल्फदेशभ्यो निपीड्य विक्रमेण तु प्रसार्य जानुनोधस्त्वान् वासनं सिंहरूपकम्.
Now we move on to Guptasana. Bring both feet tucked fully underneath you between the thighs and the calves, as so the buttocks rest above the heels. Place your palms gently on your knees. Sit tall with your chest wide, chest open. As you hold the Shamati Mudra Sahaja Kumbhaka, in Sahaja Kumbhaka, you will inhale deeply through the nose, hold the breath comfortably, then release through the nose. Hold the Mula Bandha, chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing sitting in the sacred space of Upanishad with Bhagwan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam.
गुप्तासना जानुर्भोरन्तरे पादौ कृत्वा पादौ च गोपयेत् पादोपरि च संस्थाप्य गुदं गुप्तासनं विदुः.
Now slowly come up to a standing position as we move on to Dikshasana. Start by standing tall with your feet planted firmly on the ground, then gently bring your fingertips of right hand together and place them on the crown of your head. In Diksha Mudra, hold the Mula Bandha, chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing the Supreme Contour of Hinduism, Bhagwan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam, blessing you on top of your head.
दीक्षासना प्रसकीर्धीरधा स्थित्वा पञ्चमुष्टिमुपादयेत् तदेवानदीक्षाय स्तेन फलभ्यते.
Now come to a kneeling position as we move on to Harinasana, the deer pose. Kneel tall and cross your forearms over your chest, holding your opposite arms firmly. Keep your thighs strong and rooted as you begin lifting your heels up towards your buttocks, one after the other. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
हरिनासना उद्दानं कृत्वा पार्ष्णिव्यां नितम्बं हरिनासनं भवति.
Next, we move on to Malasana, the squat pose. So come into a low squat with the palms pressed firmly to the floor in front of you. Lift your shins and hook them high over your shoulders. Lean your weight forward slowly as you press through the arms. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra. Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualizing your legs as a flower garland suspended directly and gracefully.
मालासना हस्ताभ्यामविनं स्पृष्ट्वा स्कन्धयोर्जाननी संस्थाप्य पार्ष्ण्यम् उरसि निधाय तिष्ठेत् मालासनं भवति.
Now we move on to Narasana, the perfected human pose. This is an inverted pose. You're going to bring the crown of your head on the ground and placing the arms up to the side with the palms on the floor, lifting both legs up. Tuck your knees in close, rest them lightly on the back of your arms. From there, press through the hands and slowly extend your legs upward until they are straight above you. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham in Narasana.
Narasana. इति योगासनस्तस्य योगी भवति साधकः नरासनं यः करोति स सिद्धो नात्र संशयः.
Next, we move on to Adho Mundasana, downward head pose. This is an advanced posture. Please do not try it alone. You can take the support of the partner if you need. In this asana, your entire weight is on the crown of your head as you bring the arms to the side of your body. The downward head pose, holding the Shambhavi Mudra Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing Paramashiva encompassing you, keeping you stable and centered.
अधो मुण्डासना. इति योगासनस्तस्य योगी भवति साधकः नरासनं यः करोति स सिद्धो नात्र संशयः.
Now slowly come down as you move on to Vidaki Pava Asana. Sweet wind pose to Vidaki Pava Asana way. Sit back on your heels so your hips rest over them with your toes tucked in. Interlace your fingers and place your joined hands on the floor to your right side. And slowly fold forward to the floor. As you hold the Parashamudra with your hands, placing the palms on the palms, interlacing the fingers, Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing your body softly being purified, every cell and fiber absorbing cleansing energy.
मिडकी पवासना द्वे. आसन कौगुन गुलमाई बाई जाये.
Now repeat the Medaki Pava Asana on the other side.
आसन कौगुन गुलमाई बाई जाये.
Now slowly come up seated on the heels. As you move on to Virasana Trini, the hero pose 3, kneel with your shins apart and your hips resting back between the heels. Place your palms gently on the knees, lift the chest and reach tall to the crown of the head as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra Sahaja Kumbhaka Udhyana Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing and embodying the state and space of bravery, poised and resolute.
वीरासन त्रिणी. दंड पद्म भरद्वाजा वीरवज्र समानितो आसनानि सदा कुर्यात् सुदीर्घैरे च पूरकैः.
Now we move on to Shenasana, the hawk pose. So come into an inverted stance in headstand and using your arms strong to balance. As you lower gently, tap your nose towards the ground, then rise back up smoothly. Repeat this movement with rhythm, bowing and lifting with control. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sahaja Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha, Japa Om, Nithyananda Paramashivoham. So you're going to bring the weight on the forearms as you raise your legs behind you. You can take the support of the wall. Now, Om Karima, if you did the other way, it will be easy. Turn away. Bring the forearms on the floor and raise your legs above along the wall. Yes.
केनासना विपरीतनृत्ये च स्थितौ नासिकभूमौ संस्पृश्य ऊर्ध्वं नीत्वा पुनः संस्पृशेत् श्येनासनं भवति.
Remaining in the same position, hold your legs straight, extending it above and above your head. As you move on to Pincha Mayurasana, the forearm peacock pose. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
पिञ्चमयूरासना मायूरं पिञ्चमायूरं पद्मपीठमसन्वितं कौकुटं गर्भपिण्डं च कौर्मं योगनृसिंहकम्.
Slowly come down. Now we move on to Godohikasana, cow milking pose. Sit with the toes pressed into the floor. Lift your hips so your weight rests firmly into the heels. Your knees off the ground. Make gentle fists and place them onto your thighs, letting them support your balance. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sahaja Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualizing yourself milking a cow, hands steady and gentle.
गोदोहिकासना श्लीष्टगुलीश्लीष्टगुल्भौ विश्लिष्टोरुक्यसारये यत्रोपविश्य पादौ तद्दण्डासनमदीरितं भूतपार्श्वे प्राहुरुत्कटिकासनं पार्ष्णिभ्यां तु भुवस्त्यागे तत्स्यद्गोदोहिकासनम्.
Now slowly come up to a standing position as we move on to Ushtrasana Trini, the camel pose 3. Stand upright on your toes, pressing the ground through the balls of your feet. So raise your heels, arms raised. Raise both arms overhead, place palms in Parashamudra, interlacing the fingers. Hold the Sahaja Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as a camel enduring harsh conditions with calm resilience.
उष्ट्रासनत्रिणी पादगुल्याभ्यमु भूमिं धृत्वा बाहु ऊर्ध्वकृत्य तिष्ठेत् उष्ट्रासनं भवति.
Now we move on to Tadasana, mountain pose 2. Stand firm and bring your palms together overhead as you stretch upward. Keep your spine tall, chest lifted and gaze slightly up through the fingertips as you hold the Anjali Mudra with your hands, Sahaja Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as a mountain rooted deeply and standing stable for thousands of years.
ताडासनाद्वे महामुद्राबद्धकोणं ताडासनविभेदकान् उत्तानं सदा कुर्यात् भक्तिपूर्वं प्रियप्रिया.
Remaining in the same position, now we move on to Kailasa, palm tree pose. Stand with the feet firmly grounded. Lift both arms high overhead, spreading your fingers wide, reaching out long through your body like a tall palm tree. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sahaja Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as a tall, unwavering palm tree, symbolizing Rama's skill.
तालासना बेहात ऊंच करीने पंजपहोल राखीने उभे रहे वुमते तादासन तालासन कहे वायचे.
Remaining in the same position, now we move on to Kulala Chakrasana. So extend the arms by your side as you start rotating, begin circling them in smooth, steady rotation, like the turning of a potter's wheel, holding the Shambhavi Mudra Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, as you visualize yourself as a potter's wheel, spinning with steady balance and centered awareness.
कुलालचक्रासना हस्तौ प्रसार्य ब्राह्मणं कर्तव्यं कुलालचक्रासनं भवति.
Remain standing as we move on to Panchasana, the paw pose. Stand tall on the front of your feet, lifting your heels as you cross your forearms in front of your chest and clasp your opposite arm. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Param Shivoham as you visualize yourself rising gently with the tip of your feet rooted onto the earth.
Panchasana. चरणस्याग्रभागेनोत्तिष्ठेत् भुवस्थले मुनि कृत्वा हस्तपरिवेष्टं सिद्धं सेवति सिद्धये.
Now we move on to Ardha Chandrasana. Stand tall and steady. Place the sole of one foot firmly into the inner thigh of the opposite thigh in the half moon pose. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra Ujjayi Kumbhaka, making the sound of the ocean. Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize the moon in your inner space.
अर्धचन्द्रासना. एकेन पादेन भूमिम् अवस्तभ्य अन्यपादतलेन उरु अवस्तभ्य तिष्ठेत्. आस्तेति पुनः पुनः कर्तव्यम्. अर्धचन्द्रं भवति.
From the same position, now we are transitioning into Shankwasana, the conch pose. So now bring that foot, whichever foot was on the inner thigh, bring that towards your abdomen, holding with the both hands, holding with the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, as you visualize as an arrow of Shiva's bow, taut with potential, precise and intent.
Shankwasana. Tishthansa anpasnina.
Sorry, the knees are down. Omkarnima, your knees are down towards the floor. Bring the knee down, like how Devasmana has, like that. Yeah.
Shankwasana. तिष्ठन्सा पार्ष्णिना इतरजङ्गप्रदेशे सम्पीड्य स्थातव्यम्. उत्थितव्यम् इति पुनः पुनः कर्तव्यम्. शङ्ख्वासनं भवति.
Now we move on to Ardha Kalasana, the half palm tree pose. Raise one arm standing tall. Raise one arm by the side of your ears. And you gaze straight forward. Stand tall with the feet rooted. Raise your left arm high alongside your ear while the rest of the body stays steady and aligned. Keep your chest lifted, spine long as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha, visualizing yourself as a palm tree resilient in storms.
अर्धतालासना. बे हाथ ऊंचे करीने पंज पहोल राखीने उभे. रहे घूमते तादासन तालासन कहे वायचे. एक एक हाथ ऊंचे राखवाती अर्धतालासन कहे वायचे.
Next, we move on to Virabhadrasana, the fierce warrior pose 2. Extend your right foot in front of you, making a 90-degree angle, and extend the left foot behind you, and extend both arms. Stretch both arms, facing forward. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as Lord Virabhadra, fierce and powerful, embodiment of righteous anger and divine action.
वीरभद्रासना 2. वासिष्ठमतकौण्डिन्यम् ऊर्ध्वकुक्कुटमेव च. अष्टावक्रमतोत्थानं मयूरं सेतुबन्धनम्. उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकम्. नटराजं त्रिकोणं च सुप्ताङ्गष्टप्रसारणे.
Now, continuing from Virabhadrasana, going back to Virabhadrasana, now we are going to bring the respective hand to the floor. So go back to Virabhadrasana. From there, transition by bringing Devasmana. Your knees bent 90 degrees. See, that is why it is easy if you go from Virabhadrasana. From Virabhadrasana, you're just going to bring the arms to the The hands not on the floor. The arms are right above the head. Your right hand is above the head. Lean forward. Yeah. And hand above your head. It's not straight vertically, it's at an angle. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
पार्श्वकोणासना सप्तचक्रक्षालनाय विक्षासनविशेषकान् जननेन्द्रियाध्याय कोणभेदान् समभ्यसे.
Now straighten your front knee. Instead of 90 degrees, straighten your front knee. Now twist your body to bring the left hand to the right foot. As you move on to Parivritta Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
सप्तचक्रक्षालनाय विक्षासनविशेषकान् जननेन्द्रियाध्याय कोणभेदान् समभ्यसे.
Slowly come up as we move on to Virabhadrasana Trini. So resting the entire weight on your right leg. Lean forward, raising the left leg behind you. You can take the support of the wall if you need. Extend the arms in front of you. Your body completely horizontal to the floor. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
वीरभद्रासनत्रिणी वासिष्ठम्मतकौण्डिन्यम् ऊर्ध्वकुक्कुटमेव च अष्टावक्रवतोद्धानं मयूरं सेतुवन्दनम् उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकं नदिराजं त्रिकोणं च सुप्ताङ्गष्टप्रसारणे.
Slowly come up as we move on to Vama Padasana. Standing on the right foot, raise your left leg in front of you, making it parallel to the floor. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as your arms by the side. So take the help of the wall if you need to, but make the leg horizontal to the floor.
वामपादासना जमने पगन भूर्भवानी जेमानि आपनुं माहोयते भानि बाबो करिदाबे पग उभरहे वुंते वामपादासन कहे वायचे.
Now we move on to Matantara Vikshakshana, alternative lineage tree pose. Now raising one leg, you're going to bring the foot near the ankle. Firmly place into the opposite thigh, bringing the hands together, palms together at your chest or raise. So your feet are by the inner thigh. And hands together in Namaskara Mudra. Omkarima. Bring the foot to the inner thigh. Hold the Anjali Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself in mindful form, pause, tree pose, rooted like the deep tree.
मतंतर वृक्षासना अर्धवृक्षासन ए आसनाने अवांतर भेद चे बमने पगम धींचनाति वालिमाथुम भूमति ते कावे.
From here, place the right foot on top of the left thigh. As you slowly come down, squat down, bringing the hands to the floor, just touching the floor. Yes, slowly come down like an invisible seat and bring the hands to the floor, keeping your chest broad. So fold forward as you carefully until your little fingers touch the ground gently ahead of you. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself embodying the desire, focus and intentional in Kamasana, desire pose.
नितम्बे च पादगोष्ठी हस्ताभ्याम् अङ्गुलीयकम् अथ कामासनं वक्ष्ये कामासङ्गेन हेतुना.
Now we move on to Vimanasana. So standing tall, from the root down, through the right foot, lift your left foot and place it gently across the right knee. So it rests then securely. Placing the hands on the respective knees, slowly come to a seated position. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Bend your knees to as if it is an invisible seat in Vimanasana.
एकं पादं भूमौ निधाय नितम्बं जानुप्रदेशे आनीय द्वितीयं पादं जानुने निधाय तिष्ठेत् विमानासनं भवति.
Now we move on to Ardha Padasana, the half foot pose. So stand evenly on your left foot and place the sole of your right foot against the inside of your left ankle. So raising one foot, placing it on the other side of the ankle. Hold the Namaskara Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize yourself as a half foot grounded yet elevated poise for movement.
अर्धपादासना. उभरहीने दाहे पगने फनज्जमन पगन धीम चनाना उत्तारण धापे भागमम अदादिराघवे.
From here, we move on to Uttikta Trivikramasana. Slowly raise your right leg as you bring by your head, as you hold with the both arms. Extended three-step pose, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, Japas Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as your clench your perineum in Mula Bandha.
उत्थित त्रिविक्रमासना. उत्तानकूर्मं पीठं च सिंहं गारुडमेव च वातायनं गोमुखं च भारद्वाजं त्रिविक्रमम्.
Now, fold the leg, bring the right leg behind you as you move on to Natarajasana, the king of dancers pose, as you hold on to the feet and to the foot and raise it above and behind your head. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as Lord Nataraja dancing in cosmic rhythm.
नन्दराजासना द्वे. शलभासनभेदाश्च नटभेरुण्डनामके गण्डभेरुण्डसहिते शीर्षदण्डासनं तथा.
Now come to a standing position in Purna Padasana, full foot pose, standing firmly on the feet, arms by your side. Relax your shoulders. As you stand in Purna Padasana, hold the Shambhavi Mudra Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, merging with your awareness. See his guidance illuminating every thought and action, embodying inner stillness, clarity, and the transformative power of enlightened presence.
पूर्णपादासना. उभरहीने दाबापदिने फनजीमनापगनी भींचनाना उत्तारण दाबे भागमम अदादिराघवे.
Now we are going to repeat the Ardha Talasana on the other side, the half palm tree pose. Now raise one arm by your side, by the ear, while the other arm rests by your side, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka, making the sound of the ocean with your breath. Clench your perineum and Mula Bandha and chant the Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham as you visualize yourself as a palm tree.
देहात ऊंच करीने पंजब होल राखीने उभे रहे बुनते ताडासन तालासन कहे वायचे एक एक हाथ ऊंचे राघवादि अर्धतालासन कहे वायचे।
Now we move on to Virabhadrasana, the fierce warrior pose 2. So bringing the left foot forward this time, bend at 90-degree angle, extend the arms as you face forward and extend the right leg behind you in Virabhadrasana. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as Lord Virabhadra. Rama, extend the right leg behind you as much as possible. Move the right foot behind you further away. Left foot is okay. Yeah. Move the right leg as far as possible. And make the left leg 90-degree. Yes.
वीरभद्रासना वासिष्ठं मदकौण्डिन्यम् ऊर्ध्वकुक्कुटमेव च अष्टावक्रमतोद्धानं मयूरं सेतुबन्धनम्.
Continuing, don't lift up, just remain in the same position. Bring the left hand to the left foot. Lean forward, bring the left hand to the left foot. Yes. As we move on to Parshva Konasana. Parshvantri repeated on the other side.
पार्श्वकोणासना सप्तचक्रक्षालनाय वृक्षासनविशेषकान् जननेन्द्रियाध्याय कोणभेदान् समभ्यसेत्.
Now slowly come up, straightening your knee. Straighten the left knee. Now twist your body, bringing the right foot to the left, right hand to the left foot. And as you look up, as we move on to Parivritti Trikonasana, Parshvantri. Holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha, visualizing yourself as a triangle, stable and balanced.
सप्तचक्रक्षालनाय वृक्षासनविशेषकान् जननेन्द्रियाध्याय कोणभेदान् समभ्यसेत्.
Now slowly come up, shifting your entire weight to the left leg as we move on to Virabhadrasana Trini, the warrior pose 3. So shift your weight to the left leg, raising the right leg behind you as you lean forward, extending your arms by your side, extending your arms by your ears. As you look down, hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as Lord Virabhadra, empowered and vigilant.
वीरभद्रासनत्रिणी वासिष्ठमतकौण्डिन्यम् ऊर्ध्वकुक्कुटमेव च अष्टावक्रमतोद्धानं मयूरं सेतुबन्धनम् उत्तानपादं क्रौञ्चं च मरीचिं वीरभद्रकं नटराजं त्रिकोणं च सुप्ताङ्गष्टप्रसारणे.
Now we move on to Dakshina Padasana. Standing on your left leg, raise your right leg parallel to the floor, arms by your side, as you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
दक्षिणपादासना जमने पगपूर्वभानि जेमानि आपनुं माय होयते भानि बाभो करिदाबे पगो भरहे बुंते वामपादासन कहे वायचे दाबो पगपूर्वभानि लांबो करि जमने पग उबारहे बुंते दक्षिणपादासन कहे वायचे.
Now we move on to Markanthara Vrikshasana, alternative lineage tree pose, repeated on the other side. Now stand tall on your right foot, placing the left foot against the inner thigh. Bring the hands together in Namaskara Mudra. Ujjayi Kumbhaka, making the sound of the ocean with your breath. Hold the Mula Bandha. Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize yourself as a tree rooted deep and branches wide.
मचंतर वृक्षासना अर्धवृक्षासन ए आसनाने अवामतर भेद चे बमने पगदीं चिनाति वालिनी माथिं भूमिति ते कावी.
Now moving on to Kamasana. Repeat it, the desire pose. This time bring the opposite leg to the opposite hip. So whichever side you did the previous time, now do the opposite leg. Bringing the right foot to the left to hip. Whichever side you did previously, do the opposite side. Now bend your knees and come down to the lean forward. Bring your little fingers to the floor. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, embody pure, unconditional love radiating through every cell.
कामासना नितम्बे चे पादगोष्ठी हस्ताभ्यामङ्गुलीयकम् अथ कामासनं वक्ष्ये कामासङ्गेन हेतुना.
Now, remaining in the same position, bring your hands to the knees. And you're seated on an invisible chair. With the left foot placed on the knee instead of the hip, Mahadev Smrana. The left foot would be placed on above the knee, just above the knee. Place the hands on the respective knees and come to a seated position as if you're sitting on an invisible chair. As you hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as an ancient Hindu aircraft soaring across realms and dimensions.
विमानासना एकं पादं भूमौ निधाय नितम्बं जानुप्रदेशे आनीय द्वितीयं पादं जानुनि निधाय तिष्ठेत् विमानासनं भवति.
Relax. Now we move on to Ardha Padasana Parshvantre, half foot pose repeated on the other side. Standing tall, place the sole of your right foot to the inside of the left ankle, just above it. Hold the Namaskara Mudra Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing yourself as a half foot grounded yet elevated, poised for movement.
अर्धपादासना उबर्हीने दाबापगने फलजमनपगन भीमचनानि उत्तारण दाबे भगमं मदाधिराघवे ते अर्धपादासन कहे वायचे.
Now we are repeating Utthita Trivikramasana, extended three-step pose on the other foot. So now raise your left leg above, shifting your entire weight to the right leg. Lift the left leg, hold on. Hold on to the foot. Start by holding on to the feet. And try to raise it as high as possible.
उत्थित त्रिविक्रमासना उत्तानकूर्मं पीठं च सिंहं गारुडमेव च वातायनं गोमुखं च भारद्वाजं त्रिविक्रमम्.
Relax. Now we move on to the next asana, Natarajasana Dve Parshvantre. This time, bringing the opposite leg behind you, hold on to the feet and raise it above the head. As you open your chest wide, hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
नटराजासनान्वे शलभासनभेदाश्च नटभेरुण्डनामके गण्डभेरुण्डसहिते शीर्षदण्डासनं तथा.
Relax. Now we move on to the next asana, Kaupinasana, the loincloth pose. So standing tall, bring your hands to the groin region, placing one palm over the other, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Ujjayi Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize Swamiji, the Supreme Founder of Hinduism, merging with your awareness.
कौपिनासना वृष्णसहितलिङ्गं ऊरुमध्ये गाधं धृत्वा चरणाग्राभ्यां स्थातव्यं कौपिनासनं भवति.
Now, come down laying on the mat As we move on to Chakrasana Dve, wheel pose 2. So lay on your back with legs extended upward. Reach with your hands and grasp your big toes, keeping the chest broad and shoulders settled on the ground. Let your breath flow smoothly as you hold steady. Hold the prana mudra with your hands, interlacing, holding onto the toes. Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, visualizing each of your chakra as bright white light, spinning and radiant, purifying and energizing your entire being.
चक्रासना द्वे बेहातनी अंगलोधी बेपगनाम अंगली पकड़ीने सबुम ते चक्रासन कहे वायचे.
Now bring the feet flat on the ground in front of your hips, placing the arms on your thighs. Close your eyes and let every part of your body soften as you breathe, as your breath flows naturally. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualize Swamiji, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, extending you gently yet powerfully, helping your body move beyond all perceived limitations as we do Tanasana.
तववद्भूमौ तिष्ठेत् शवासनं भवति पादद्वयं वितानोत्तानासनं भवति.
Now, slowly bring your elbows to the ground, lift your chest up. Lay back with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Place your elbows firmly beside you, pressing into the earth. Inhale and lift your hips up, chest broad, creating an arch. The three-peak pose. Hold the Shambhavi Mudra, Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. As you visualize yourself as a mountain with three majestic peaks.
त्रिपुटासना उत्तानशयनं पादतलाभ्यां भूमिं नृत्वा कूर्पुरौ अवनौ निधाय पृष्ठप्रदेशम् ऊर्ध्वम् उन्नामये त्रिपुटं भवति.
From here, we are going to move on to Chatuspada Pitam, 4-foot seat. So, keeping the feet flat on the ground, palms facing towards your feet, palms facing the floor, fingers pointing towards your feet. Raise your knees, raise your hips above and the chest above the floor. In a 4-foot seat, holding the Shambhavi Mudra, Sahaja Kumbhaka Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualizing each limb as a pillar of a Hindu temple, strong, steady, and radiant.
चतुष्पादपीठम् पूर्वतानं चतुष्पादं पीठं वज्रासनं तथा चकोरक्रौञ्चशलभा भुजङ्गमपि विस्तृतम्.
Now, come to Padmasana. Placing the right foot on the left thigh and the left foot on the right thigh. Hold on to the toes as you slowly lean back towards the floor. As we move on to Pakra Padmasana, arched lotus pose. Lean back onto your elbows and place your upper back and crown of your head onto the ground. As you arch your back, hold the Prana Mudra with your hands, holding onto the toes. Kevala Kumbhaka, allowing the breath to pass naturally. Observe without forcing. Clench your perineum and Mula Bandha Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Visualizing a lotus arching upward, petals opening up strong and resilient.
वक्र पद्मासना अर्चित कमलासन पाद प्रणयतो ग्रहणं कुर्वीता पृष्ठाभ्याम् अकुर्वीता शिरो ललाटे प्रतिनीयच्छेति.
Continue to remain in the same position as we move on to Mukta Padmasana, liberated lotus pose. Lean back onto your elbows and then place your upper back and crown of your head onto the ground as you arch your back. So here we are going to be holding the Prana Mudra with your hands holding onto the toes. Kevala Kumbhaka, allowing the breath to pause naturally. Mula Bandha, clenching the muscles of the perineum. Japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, as you visualize yourself as a lotus flower that has fully blossomed and risen above the muddy waters.
Mukta Padmasana. Mukta Padmasanam Kritva Uttanam Shayanam Charet Kutparabhyam Siro Veshtya Matsyasanam Tirogaha.
Now slowly extend the legs in front of you. As we move on to the last asana of the sequence, Mritasanam. Lay on your back with legs slightly apart and arms relaxed as you're at your sides. Turn your palms upward, allowing the feet to fall outward, and let your whole body soften into stillness. Breathe naturally. Release the effort from every joint and muscle and rest in complete relaxation. Focus on the Muladhara. Contract the perineum to rouse the dormant Kundalini. Forcefully draw the Apana Vayu upward with intent, holding the energy and intention firmly inward. Clench the perineum in Mula Bandha as you continue to chant the japa Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham internally. Visualize your soul rising free from the limitation of the corpus body, guided by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashiva.
Mritasana. Uttanam Savavad Bhumau Shayanam Tu Shavasanam. Shavasanam Shantiharam Chitta Vishantikarakam.
Now slowly reveal your toes, your fingers. Bend your knees. Bring them to your chest as you hug and roll gently side to side. Slowly roll over to one side and come to a seated position. Congratulations! Now each and every one of you have completed 100 asanas successfully today with the Dvitiya Vinyasa Krama 2 series. I hope all of you enjoyed the Yogasana today. If you'd like to get a deeper experience of these asanas, come join us in Paramashivasena, a 30-day program offered free of cost, which is happening in Kailasa, Guinea-Bissau in West Africa, and in Kailasas in Bharat, in Tiruvannamalai and Bengaluru. If you'd like to register, please register at ecitizen.info/ESS. So thank you all for joining today. We hope you enjoyed the Nithyananda Yoga along with us. Now let us close the session by chanting the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamadat Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu. Om Nithyanandam. Please turn towards Swamiji's Atmamurti and offer our gratitude. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you all again tomorrow.